So because Offworld Trading Company is still an early access game, and more than likely it's going to change drastically over the next few months, this is going to be more of a non-traditional review. I'm going to go over the game mechanics, how the game works, some of the gameplay features, while, doing kind of a walkthrough and a basic tutorial video on what you could expect if you decide to pick up this game for yourself. So this is Offworld Trading Company, the economic real-time strategy game that the lead designer of Civilization 4 has been working on for now over a year. And this is obviously the menu system. I wanted to go over it kind of briefly, but really wanted to jump into it really quick. There's single player and multiplayer. We're going to be dealing mostly with single player, but I did get to play a few games of multiplayer. This game is really fun, and in terms of the menu options, there is a tutorial mode, there's a campaign, but we're going to play quick play, and we're probably going to keep all the settings like this. And, now you can kind of know that there are a bunch of different ways you can kind of set this game up. There are plenty of AIs you can add to the game, and there's all sorts of difficulties as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of variety, a lot of depth within this game. So you start this game off on a randomly generated map somewhere on Mars, and there are all different resources. I mean, that's part of the replayability value here in this game, is that there's just, you never know what you're going to get every single time. So there's plenty of different resources all throughout the map, and that's what we first have to do. We have to explore the map to figure out where exactly we're going to put our headquarters. So let's go ahead and do that really quick, and then I'll go over some of the more basic stuff. One thing I want to mention is that, we talked about single player and multiplayer. The big difference between single player and multiplayer is you can pause the game. As you can see, I can pause the game, which is kind of part of the reason why I wanted to do a single player campaign, to kind of take it slow, and we can also adjust the speed a little bit, so that's nice. It's something that I can slow down with and show you guys exactly what I'm doing. So right now, we're looking for different resources. So each color, you don't have to have this stuff memorized, it just, you hover over it. This is aluminum, and then we can continue to explore. This is going to be carbon. Very interesting. And there's a little percentage here, 5% explored. We can just keep doing this. Eventually, we're going to run out. Eventually when you run out, then you have to wait a few seconds before you get another one. But it's very important that you find the correct spot where you want to settle your first headquarters, or I guess your only headquarters. You only get one headquarters in this game, so that's why it's really crucial. Generally, you're going to play for about, I've noticed that some of my games last anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Multiplayer games do tend to last a little bit longer. Sometimes the AI, like I said, is really good. I mean, they can kick your butt, so I just want to prepare you guys for that. I might get my butt kicked here. Okay, so we're looking for resources. Now, the way the game displays these resources is different colors, different shapes, some sort of cylinders here for water, and as you can see, there's only one cylinder here. Then you have two cylinders stacked on top of each other on this tile here. So you can assume that, there's going to be more water resources there, and you're only going to be able to pick one tile. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but just kind of keep an eye out on these little icons. There's also a dispenser, a geothermal vent, which is going to be used for energy, which we're going to go on after we settle, and we've already have one person settled. Miss Research has already settled, and we're going to go over these numbers as well. I just got to find the right spot that we should settle in. It will not as you can see, if I'm clicking this button, it won't do it until I press play again. So there I am, I'm pressing play. All right, and Miss Entertainment now just launched. We should probably get something down soon now that all the AIs have launched. I guess the best, you kind of want to look for a spot that, obviously you're in the middle of all sorts of resources. That way you're the most balanced throughout the game. Unless you want to play it risky and go all in for a location that just has one particular resource. So we're going to go for the expansive type of faction. There are 4 different types of factions, I think, for now. I could see us definitely expanding at some point, but there's scientific, scavenger, and robotic. These are all different sort of different ways to play the game, but we're going to play expansive. That seems to be kind of the most vanilla way to play. Now, we have 2 options. We can either settle here on these tiles that have no resources, but if we settle on top of the resources, which we can actually, because you cannot settle on hills, but you can settle, let's say for here, you're going to get this source of, I completely blanked, but this resource automatically in your stockpile right when you slap it down. But then you're losing it for the rest of the game, so you kind of have to play it wisely. I'm going to go ahead and do this because there is already a lot of aluminum. That's what I was trying to say. There is already a lot of aluminum over here towards the west, so I'm going to go ahead and slap my station down this way, and then we can always just send some stuff over there to get, look at that 3 stack of aluminum. That's going to give us a lot, and we're going to go over that briefly, but there's also water down here. Looks like we're going to have to struggle. There's a little bit of carbon, and you just kind of generally want to find as much as you can. Now that we've started the game, this fog of war is slowly going to start to dissipate, so we're going to see more and more resources throughout the map. And obviously, you want to kind of stay close to where the resources are at. If you get too far away, it's going to cost you more fuel, at least for the expansive headquarters or faction or whatever like that. So the further away you have a ship going and collecting a certain resource, the more fuel it's going to take, which is going to cost you more money, and that's just bad. Okay, so let's get into the general mechanics of this game. In order to win the game, you have to buy stock, which actually we could buy stock right now, but that would be a dumb idea. So what we want to do is we want to buy out every single one of these AIs. Miss Research, we want to fill up every single one of these little blocks until there's nothing, and then her company will be ours. Her company will be generally kind of contributing all their income to us, and that's what this game is. That's why I like this game so much. It's so different. It's an economic real-time strategy, which is something that you don't generally see. This is how you can kind of judge the stock market here, but generally this is what you want to do. You want to completely buy out everyone's stock, and sometimes you get into little battles where, like, let's say me and Miss Research are trying to buy out Miss Entertainment, and we both have like maybe about the same amount of stock. The thing about that is that the more stock you buy, and let's say you get to a stalemate and there's no more stock to be left. This little bar has been completely filled out. What you're going to want to do at that point is depending on how many stock you've already bought, you can buy the other person out. So if I had more stock, if I had bought more stock inside of Miss Entertainment than Miss Research did, let's say she only had 3 blocks and I had like 7, it's not going to cost me as much as it would for her to buy me out. And at that point, after all the stocks have been sold to somebody, then you just have to make one final purchase, and then whoever gets bought out gets to keep that company, if that makes any sense. And it's a pretty simple game. We're gonna go over it. I know that maybe that was a little complicated, but yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, there's only one victory type, and that's generally what you're gonna want to do. This is the stock market, and this is I love this feature in the game. It seems to be really interesting. Depending on how many resources you have, you can sell your resource to the stock market, but you're going to see, let's say, the worth of glass kind of plummet a bit. So if I just continue to spam this minus button and I sell it off to the market, then it's going to become less and less cheap because, that's the way economics work. The more you have of something, the less valuable it is and the less it's worth. So you want to kind of look for stuff that the other AIs aren't building, and you kind of want to get those resources and sell them to the stock market. Obviously, there's a bunch of different ways and a bunch of different little strategies and tips you can do to win this game, but that's kind of something that you kind of generally want to look out for. Let's say like nobody's producing aluminum, which is usually not the case, but if no one's producing aluminum, boom, we make it ourselves, and let's go steal some aluminum. So anyways, let's just jump into this. Now, one little feature that you kind of want to do as fast as you can is you want to upgrade your headquarters. You can upgrade your headquarters a level of 5 times, which is kind of something you want to do. I've seen a few people only go up to about 4 or 5, but the faster you do this in the beginning of the game, the better you're going to be off. And by the way, these numbers here, this is your actual stock. So for Miss Research, we see a $5.40. That means it's going to cost us $5,400. Yeah, there it is, $5,400 to buy her stock. It's going to go up or down throughout this game depending on how much debt she accumulates, which is something that we're going to definitely have. We're going to accumulate debt over time. So like if she starts to accumulate debt, her stock is going to go down, which means it's going to be easier to buy her stock, which means it's going to be easier to buy her out. Finally, here is our actual funds. I mean, that's pretty common knowledge there. It's pretty general. Now, claims, this is why getting a headquarters upgrade is so crucial to your game, because you automatically start off the game with 5, and that kind of depends on the faction, but you automatically start the game with 5 claims. That means that I can only build 5 ships to collect a certain resource. After 5, I can't do any more unless I upgrade. That's why it's really, really crucial that you try to get up to maybe like maybe level 3 as fast as you can. And it kind of depends on your strategy after that. I would definitely suggest maybe, if you're kind of beginning this game, just focus on getting to headquarters 5, and then we'll look at everything else. Here's the black market, and we're going to go over that a little bit later, but let's go ahead and jump into this. We've been talking for too much. I'm sorry. So yeah, we want to look at what we need to do to get towards upgrade headquarters level 2. And I think it's not going to cost us anything if we just do this right now. And I think I might upgrade automatically. That might not be a bad idea. That actually might be a bad idea. It might not. But, you know, I've never done it before, so let's just go ahead and see what happens. Since I already have it in my stockpile, I already had enough. Usually, because I settled right on top of the aluminum, that was my strategy, is I already had enough resources to be able to upgrade immediately. So I could do it again, and the way this game works is, sometimes, you know, as you can see, I have 0 out of 60 steel resources. Now, you don't have to always have a full 60 out of 60 seal or above. You can just use your funds to kind of make out the difference. That's not a bad idea, and I love that mechanic of the game, because this game would have been really, really just a big-ass headache if you actually had to have the exact amount of resources or above. It's really nice that you can kind of finish it off, and if you have the funds, you can just quickly pay for the I guess, the amount that you don't have. So we're not going to go to a level 3. That's too much. But now we have 10 claims, so we have plenty of things to do. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get up aluminum, because this is an excellent spot, and we don't want the AIs to steal it from us. So we're going to go ahead and send over a ship, and as I guess we'll start to play. See, there's a ship that's going to come on by, and also you can see that every day that passes, or every minute that passes by, this fog of war is going to eliminate, and we're going to have more access to what is behind, and what is behind this snow, and what's behind this fog here, and find some more resources. But so this is a great tile, and you want to be very careful with where you choose your tiles. Depending on where you choose it, let's say later on I want to get up another aluminum resource to get more aluminum, which we haven't actually completed this one. So we're not seeing it, but it'll show a little bonus. Since you have 2 ships heading to the same tile that have adjacent resources, adjacent aluminum extracts or aluminum deposits or whatever you want to say, you're going to get a little bonus for it. So depending on where you build, it's really important. It's really crucial to kind of generally think of the right strategy. And you know what? It might have been a bad idea for me to put myself right in here, because as well as, you know, I was talking about that, you kind of want to build your, let's say for food or oxygen. Yeah, so for food or oxygen, you have to have it adjacent to your station. And that's the same thing. If you have a bunch of oxygen stations right next to each other, you're going to get a bigger bonus out of that. So you want to be very, very careful with where you place these extractors or these resources or whatever. So yeah, we've got aluminum. The next big thing is we want iron as playing as an expansive faction. So let's go ahead and grab some iron. Now, as we can see, there's not too many great iron resources, as well as, you know, we saw a bunch of aluminum. And yeah, so it looks like this might be the only location for iron. So Miss Entertainment did the right spot by grabbing those few resources. So we're going to put this in the middle. That way, if you ever want to get more iron later on, and let's say Miss Entertainment grabs these 2 spots, we always have this spot, and we can still get that bonus by having 2 adjacent iron resources extracting from one another, or I guess right next to each other. So yep, there we go. Let's let it play for a little bit. And as you can see, this is kind of generally how you're able to check what you're losing, what kind of rate you're losing from. Right now we have a big stockpile, so we're not in a deficit. That's not that big of a deal. But you're gonna see when we have no more left, when we have no more water left in our stockpile, we're gonna start accumulating debt. And that's actually what we're gonna see right now. The more debt we accumulate, the lower my number is gonna go. Right now we're doing good. We're at like 7.6. That's pretty good. I think I've settled in an all right spot with all this aluminum. So after we do iron, we're going to want to get up a steel mill. This is kind of the basics. I mean, what I found, you want aluminum, iron, and then you want to get up a steel mill. That's just generally what I like to do pretty fast. Now, as you can see, what I was just talking about, you can either spend 140 right now, because I don't have 10 iron completely yet, or I can just wait a little bit. And I don't think I'm going to do it. I think 140 bucks is nothing. And part of the factor that kind of chooses why it's so cheap, because you would think that it would be a little bit more expensive for 10 iron resources. It's because this number is so low. Iron is only worth $14 right now. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. And that's something that you kind of want to keep in mind if you have two things that you have to build, if you have 2 crucial things you have to build, let's say you have to choose between, just for instance, you only have 1 claim left, you have to choose between if you want to get some sort of water resource or food resource. And let's say food right now, it's worth $19. Water's only worth $11. You're going to want to get that food extractor out. You want to get up construct a farm, because water's easy. Water's cheap. We can just purchase water off the stock market, because I can get that right now. And just for the sake of things, boom, I'll go ahead and purchase it. Bam. So as you can see, the stock rose up, because, I mean, it kind of assumes that, oh, I guess water isn't, I guess, plentiful in this map, which it is. But yeah, this worth will go up. But as you can see, we just got ourselves 32 resources of water. are, which is great. So that's kind of general knowledge. You want to look at these numbers because these numbers will tell you everything you need to know about how the game is going. And every game is always different because every game has different resources. Every game has different AIs that go for different paths and stuff like that. So you really want to pay attention to these numbers. Generally, electronics and chemicals, they're always worth a lot more because these are harder resources to get up. These are harder things to get up. Now we have the black market up. There's a bunch of different things you can do here. If you need to get another claim up, you can purchase it for 1,000, which is actually pretty cheap right now. We can do, and also this number, as you can see, tells you what level each headquarters is at. I'm at level 2, Miss Research is at level 2, and then these guys are still at level 1. As I said, the black market, there's a bunch of different things that you can do to kind of screw over the AI, which makes it so much fun. I mean, yeah, there's no combat in this game, which is kind of a unique thing for a real-time strategy, but having this sort of like espionage black market mechanic is a really, really fun part in the game. And we'll probably explore a little bit of these features, not too much though, because it depends. It depends how much money I have, and it depends on the game if I really need to kind of throw somebody up. But there is an underground nuke that you could do. Purchase underground nuke, yeah. So that always catches everybody's eye pretty quickly. Okay, so if we want to upgrade again, first of all, we can, but I'm not willing to pay that much. But we already have. Let's see. We don't have a steel mill up. We chose to wait until the iron has been finished. We are accumulating iron at a rate of 1.1. Generally, that's a second. Also, they have these auctions, as you can see, every single. I don't know how often you have them, but you have them generally. Quite a long time. I think every quarter you have them. As you can see, we have a little quarter report of most profitable resources. Right now, it's my aluminum at 70. Awesome. And everyone else falls into that. And we're going to try to go and try to bid for this auction because a geothermal vent is pretty good. Let's view the plot. See, it'll take you right there. Boom. And this is right next to our station. So if we can get a hold of this, that'd be great. Right now, the bid for it is 1,000. We're going to go ahead and pay for another 1,000 more. Mr. Espionage try to steal from us. Now, if this price gets too high, well, first of all, this isn't going to go straight into our funds. Whatever we try to get here, this will not go straight into our funds. This is going to go into our debt. So it doesn't matter if I go over the amount of money I have actually in the bank, I guess. It's going to go to the debt, which you have to remember that that's going to be bad for our stock. But, you know, I mean, I like to play with a little bit of debt. I mean, we'll go up high, like 50,000. I mean, it'll go pretty high, and that's fine. Usually, that's not too bad of an idea. Right now, to construct a geothermal plant, it's only $2,000. So I don't think I'm going to go any higher than 8,000. All right. Well, we got it. Maybe the AI screwed me there, but I don't know. We got ourselves the geothermal vent, which is good, and it might take, yeah, so this tile is ours, and we don't actually have to grab it now, right? I'm actually unsure, but we don't want it yet because we don't have any steel yet. But it is our tile that nobody else can get from us, and actually that was not a bad thing to do, just because usually geothermal is a pretty rare thing on maps. So if we're one of the only stations that have it, that's a great thing. See, there's one here and there's one here, so it might be one or two different AIs are going to be stuck out of geothermal. And geothermal is the best sort of plant or some sort of, I guess, energy resource in the game. It's going to provide us 2 energy at a rate, so that's good. So anyways, let's see if we have enough iron. We do, so let's slap down our steel mill. This is, like I said, the steel mill is like the fundamental building blocks to your game. So you want to get up the iron and the steel mill as fast as you can. I got up aluminum pretty fast just because I saw a pretty nice resource that I didn't want the AI to steal from me. And look at that. I mean, look how much aluminum we're getting per turn. So we're going to want to hope that this stock raises up because we're going to be able to get a lot of money. I'll go ahead and just, for example, right now, do it. We can see that the stockpile will lower. My stockpile will lower, as well as the stock market will lower. The price for this item will lower, but my funds are being added to right now. So we're gonna want to like maybe do some things to kind of mess with this and bring up the stock for aluminum. There is ways to kind of do some espionage and trick the AI to thinking that, oh, there's not that much aluminum, and then we sell the crap out of it and get a bunch of money. That's why this game is fun. That is really why I think this is such a unique game. It's so much fun. So yeah, as you can see, the rate, we're producing 0.55 per second. Awesome. That's pretty good. And glass is another big thing that we want to do. Again, our number one goal is to get up to maybe headquarters level 4 or 5. That's a pretty good rule to think of. Now, I'm thinking, let's see, we almost have it. The big thing is glass. That's the tough one. And we're probably going to want to purchase it because glass is generally pretty cheap. For 15 sources of glass, it's only $1,000, not bad. So I might just wait for the steel to get a little bit more, and then we'll go for it. So as you can see, my deficit is slowly rising because I don't have any sources of fuel, oxygen, food, water, and energy. Don't worry about this. That's really not that big of a deal. Don't freak out. Your debt, you're going to accumulate debt. You're going to accumulate a lot of debt. That's just how it's going to be. You have to play for it where, eventually you can always pay back the debt, and that's fine. Usually you do. So, you're going to be in debt for a little bit, and that's fine. You just got to go with the flow. It's going to be okay. And we can actually do this right now. Oh, wow. We can get up some energy, but that's actually not costing us that much. It's only costing us about $11 per turn, which isn't that... Yeah, this is nothing. I've lost like close to $500 per turn or per second because I was so lacking a certain resource, whether it was fuel, food, water, energy, or whatever it was. I'm not sure if I want to just get this geothermal up. I guess I should. I mean, I paid for it. So we can get pirates as well. This is another mechanic inside of the game. I could try to purchase these pirates, and what I would do is I would set up a pirate sort of, I don't know, pirate station around a certain resource. Let's say, for instance, we wanted this water from Miss Research. We would get a little track of 3, or I guess a few little green tiles, and then they would steal slowly, maybe every 50% of the water that comes out of here and goes to Miss Research would come to us. And that would, it doesn't last forever, but it would last for a certain amount of time. It would be good to grab 3,000, 4,000. I don't know how much I'd be willing to pay for this. We do have a good amount of money still left over, so it wouldn't be too bad if we try to grab it. But no, we're okay. We're okay. We should probably get up some food. It looks like food is a big one. Actually, no, fuel. Let's get up fuel. Look how the stock market, it's fuel out of all this stuff is pretty expensive. So let's go ahead and do it, especially because we have the resources to pay for it. And this is what I'm talking about. You want to be very careful with where you place your extractors and stuff like that, because later on I could place another one right next to it, and again, I would be able to get a 50% bonus. And then if you have 3 next to each other, it's a 100% bonus. So it's a pretty awesome thing. And as you can see, when you're building, it'll have it doesn't automatically just boom build. It'll take a few turns, and there's a little countdown, 11 out of 20. Some of the bigger stuff will take 60 seconds. But yeah, that's kind of general stuff. I don't think I'm going to do a geothermal just yet. Again, I think we're waiting for a little bit more steel, and then I'll go ahead and... It looks like the price of glass is going up. Before, it was only at 905 to purchase some glass resources, but now it looks like it might be rising. Yeah, it is rising. We're seeing it right now. So maybe we should just upgrade right now. We've got a bunch of claims on things, so let's go ahead and upgrade real quick. Let's stay ahead of the pack. We're now... Our station's level 3, which is pretty good. Again, we still have a lot of things to do, a lot of resources to get up, but I think that my kind of strategy generally is to get up to station level 4 or 5 as fast as possible. That way you have a bunch of claims. You can do a plenty of things. And again, I don't think I'm gonna wait to do the geothermal plant. I think getting up fuel is really, really important. As we can see, the stock is going up slowly, and steel is pretty low. It's actually not that low in the market. It will cost us a little bit. Let's definitely get up fuel for now. And again, like I said in the very beginning, depending on how far your ships are going to collect a certain resource, that's the more fuel you're going to use. So 0.2 isn't bad. We're really not doing bad at all. Doing only a few, 0.2, 1, 0.6. Well, food is pretty bad, but it's only costing us negative 25 per second, which, we are seeing some debt kind of accumulate here. Let's go ahead and get some... We don't have any glass. That's the very important thing. But first, yeah, there we go. Not going to cost us any money because we have the resources out. Let's get some fuel going. Boom. Oh, and our fuel actually needs H2O, so that's something that we should probably do right now. Yeah, we should probably do that. And the fuel, oh my gosh, look at this water. Okay, if we get up 2, I don't know if I want to pass that up. There is 3 here and 2 here. There's 2 little pegs here, 3 little pegs here. There's going to be a huge bonus if we get something like this. But it looks like water is kind of plentiful on this certain map, so maybe it's not that good of a thing to do. We won't be able to really sell that off in too good of a way. But glass is something that's really, really important. Glass and steel are super crucial to building your stuff. And as you can see, it will kind of let you know what you need for the glass. So let's go ahead and construct the glass because we have the resources. But we're going to want to see that this glass furnace is going to consume oxygen and silicon, which is something that we don't have. So let's make sure that we get that up. So let's do oxygen for now since we don't have it. Again, we have these resources, so it's not that bad. And this is one of those sort of buildings that you kind of just place right next to our station. And then we also wanted, what was the other one? Silicon. Okay, this is going to cost us not much. Maybe I should wait. It's only going to take us seven resources of steel. That's not bad. I'd rather not pay for anything. I can be patient. It looks like we're kind of ahead of the game, so let's not go too quickly here. And let's do actually look for a good spot. If there's any good resources for silicon, I don't think so. Yeah, there's actually not. It looks like this is a pretty rare resource in this game. We might want to think about that in the future. Maybe settling here would be good, or maybe putting the ship here. That way, there's 3 resources. That way, we get that bonus at some point. All right, so we should see the glass. See, glass is worth a lot. That's the key thing. That's why I like getting up glass pretty fast, because it is worth a lot, and we are producing glass because we have stockpile. Even though we don't have the ships up and running, we do have a stockpile that we're kind of feeding into. That's why we're purchasing the glass. Oh, and it's going up right now. Someone just man, we don't have any more glass. Someone hacked into the stock market, and as you can see, it's rising, but we don't have that much glass yet. Oh man, that's so much money. I want to sell it off right now while it's high. You know, I mean, this is general economics 101. What are they? Plot auction? I don't need any more water, so yeah, no, water's not even worth that much. Hell no. For 8,000? Hell no. I've already made that mistake once. I'm not going to do it again. So yeah, we want to sell high and buy low. So let's hope this continues to rise as we continue to get more and more glass. I hope that we don't start running out of resources. Can we? See, we're at 0 now. Man, that sucks. Anyways, guys, looks like I'm going to have to stop it right there. In the next video, I'm going to go ahead and finish this game off. Hope you got a general knowledge of how to start this game. I'm going to continue to play with a little bit more mechanics in the next video. First of all, you gotta get down these buildings, and I'll say that for next time. You got to figure out these buildings are very crucial to certain mechanics of the game. The stockpile, the black market is really, really important, and then we'll start to buy off people's stocks in part 2. Anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, please leave a like. It really, really helps out so much. If you guys want to continue to see more of this content from this certain game or just from this channel in general, it helps out so much. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time.